What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. I hope you guys are doing great tonight. Hope everybody has had a fantastic start to the week and a fantastic Monday. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2025 fantasy football mock draft here on the Catch with you guys. Hopping into a 2025 fantasy football mock draft. You guys know the drill. Full PPR, 12-teamer, single quarterback, double flex, all that good stuff. We got some preseason some preseason football to talk about. But other than that, we're going to have some fun. And we're going to talk some fantasy football tonight. So, a couple spots still available in here. Sent it out a little bit early on Discord. So let's see. I'll get it going in the bottom of the YouTube chat for you guys out there as well. Feel free to hop into tonight's mock and let's get it running. We had our first community draft last night for league number 2. We're going to have our super flex draft on Friday night. We're gonna have the 3 wide receiver league, which still has 2 spots available. If you guys are curious, drafting on Saturday night, and we're gonna have. We got another draft on Sunday night as well. I think we have on Monday night. So we got a lot of real drafts coming up for the community. We'll be streaming all of those, and we'll continue to be pumping out as many mock draft streams as we can. And I'm a little bit behind on some of the Underdog streams, but need to start getting some more Underdog entries in here with you guys as well. And of course, we're going to get as much content as we can out on the channel before September is here. We have a full schedule upcoming for the regular season. But in terms of Underdog, in case you guys are curious, do you have a couple of new tournaments, including another POM that went live? The Puppy 3 is still live, but Best Ball Mania, the big one, sitting at a 74% fill rate, so it is getting closer to being completely full. All right, guys, we have 4 spots available. Go ahead and send that out on Discord as well. And I do apologize, guys. I'm still a little sick, so bear with me tonight. Didn't know if I was going to make it to tonight's stream, but I'm here. And my Commanders looking okay tonight against, probably the worst defense in the NFL preseason. Got me a little fired up. I knew I couldn't leave you guys hanging, so we are here. And as soon as this mock fills, we're going to get it going. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Commanders. I've been a little bit back and forth. Of course, the Bengals are now winning this game. Not that it matters. It's preseason, right? Jake Browning coming in and looking okay. Mitchell Tinsley for the Bengals looking okay too. But in terms of the starters out there tonight, we saw some JCM action. Took a long run all the way for a tutty. Deebo Samuel looking okay with his only catch of the night as well. Jaden Daniels ran it in for a touchdown. Definitely going to be a run-first offense, I think, at the end of the day. And Jalen Lane got a little bit of involvement so far, which is kind of a rookie sleeper name for the Commanders. So Chris Rodriguez looking okay as well. I will go ahead and say, in today's video, the panic video, I talked a little bit about the Brian Robinson situation, and it's a little bit mixed. I'm still not completely panicked. If you guys have drafted Brian Robinson, I still think overall, his value is probably about the same when he does land on a different team. Let me send out the final warnings because we are starting this mock. But, there are particular teams, I suppose, if Brian Robinson lands on them, that are not going to be good for his fantasy value. But, I've also been kind of trying to think like what team really needs a running back right now. Like maybe the Texans if they don't believe in Nick Chubb and Woody Marks and Mixon's really banged up. An interesting fashion, sometimes the Bengals get brought up in this conversation. I I think they're pretty content with that backfield. I think that'd be really bad for Chase Brown's fantasies value. But like, I mean, let me know in the chat. Like, maybe Cleveland. Like, what team really needs a running back right now? I really can't think of a team that like has a. The Cowboys. I feel like they're not going to make a move. I feel like the Commanders aren't going to make a trade with the Cowboys either. So, I do think there are a lot of bad landing spots for Brian Robinson, but ultimately, like as a player, I don't know that his value goes super down. At the same time, this is probably the best situation for him. In theory, of him running back the role he had last year. So I just don't know really like where he's going to end up. But maybe the 49ers be like the 1B. Like, hasn't Garando been a little bit banged up this offseason? I know I'm on the clock. Yeah, Garando's got a shoulder injury. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, I'm drafting from the 110, the upcoming draft. It's a tough spot right now with the Stafford injury, Puka, Neighbors banged up. I think I'm going to try something different tonight. No, I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go Puka. Am I too worried about Malik Neighbors? Like, I am actually worried about Neighbors. I'm also slightly worried about Puka, but nothing crazy. Like, I don't know. I've just been so confident in Neighbors all offseason long that I feel worried right now. All right. In terms of the Bengals, offensive line still looked really bad, but Joe Burrow did finish up 9-14 for 62 pass yards and a tutty, and threw a touchdown to. Don't actually know who he threw the touchdown to. Was it Mitchell Tinsley or was it Yoshi? Or no, not Yoshi, Charlie Jones. But Chase Brown also had a score, which was nice to see. Jamar Chase had a reception. So I think this is kind of the story of the Bengals. What we're probably going to expect this year. Like, defense is not going to look great. Offensive line is not going to look great, but they're going to put up points, and that is good for fantasy. All right, sorry guys. I am still quite under the weather. I don't feel like that bad. I just I'm like super congested. It's hard when you're streaming and you're congested. All right, we'll go double wide receiver tonight. Give me some B Tom over here. But yeah, I mean Tajay Brooks has had 4 touches in this game. Chase Brown 5 touches. Samaje Perine 1 touch. I think that they're pretty confident with this backfield. Tajay Brooks also had 2 receptions. I think they're pretty confident with Tajay Brooks as the RB2. So every time I see Mitchell Tinsley's name, I think of Mitchell Trubisky, but he is not number 82 on the Bengals, not a receiver. Wow, Jaden Daniels really didn't even throw a pass in this game. Yeah, Chris Rodriguez has looked pretty good. Like, I was pretty perplexed by the Brian Robinson potential trade rumors initially, but I think it's starting to make sense. JCM looked really good tonight in the small sample size. Once again, against arguably the worst defense in the NFL. But the Bengals did have their starters in, so I think that there is still a possibility that Brian Robinson Jr. starts the season on this roster. They can't find a trade partner. Don't call me crazy. But I think that the writing is on the wall here in terms of this chapter coming to an end. But once again, it just doesn't make a lot of sense from a contract standpoint. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right, let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy questions that you guys got, throw it in the chat. Dynasty half PPR, trade away Waddle, and a 2026 mid-late second receive Kyron Williams. Would you do Waddle, Pickens, or Zay with the pick? If I'm going to do this uh, trade, I would trade Waddle. I am lower on Waddle than I think consensus. I would rather roster Pickens and save Flowers. I will say, generally, when it comes to Dynasty, the position I put the least amount of value on is still the running back position. In terms of longevity and an overall roster, quarterback, wide receiver will give you the longest shelf life. Tight end is kind of in this weird area. As long as it's tight end premium, like I don't think tight end is like drastically more important than running back, but it is important to have a solid tight end. And when you hit on the right tight ends, it can really boost your overall roster. And running back has the shortest shelf life. But if you are a contending team, then having multiple running backs gives you a plethora of value, right? And I do think that Kyron Williams is worth owning. I also think that Kyron Williams, as much as, you guys know, I'm a big Kyron Williams truther. Like he's got what a 3-year extension is what he signed. Like, don't bank on him being there all the next 3 seasons, or at least being the true RB1. I do think he is this season, but the fall off at the running back position, not saying that Kyron will fall off, can happen very drastically. And you can look at a lot of different examples. But you can also find players who have a lot of longevity and consistency, like a James Conner, a Joe Mixon. Are they always like top 5? No. But can they give you top 10, top 12 type production? Sure. Aaron Jones be another guy. When these guys are fully healthy, like top 15 production is there. That's still very valuable. But in terms of like, how often are you going to have a roster with a Bijan, Gibbs, Henry, Chain, Genty type situation? Like those rosters do exist, but this is just banking on the point in the terms of the risk associated with acquiring a running back. Where, like, I still think in a full PPR format where wide receiver holds the most value in terms of dynasty, like Waddle does have plenty of value still. I am just lower on Waddle's outlook now. Like if Tyreek Hill gets traded, Waddle becomes the wide receiver 1. Like the value is higher there. But Waddle, I am just not a Waddle guy. And that's just where I'm at. So you're sitting with Burrow, Superflex, Burrow, Mahomes, Herbert. I would be keeping all 3 quarterbacks here. Bijan, Jones, Mason, Tajay Brooks. Then there. Pickens, Metcalf, Flowers, Waddle, Devonta Adams, Reed, Mims, Cup, Leggett, Pop, Christian Watson, Roman Wilson, Thielen, Kittle, Ferguson, Chig. A couple names on the taxi squad. And Noah Gray as well, right? I think this is a contending team. You know the competitiveness of the teams around you better than I do in your league. So I think this is a fine trade. You do risk losing a little bit of value in terms of like what Waddle's, I don't know. It's a pretty close trade. I think it's fair, honestly. But if Waddle could get back to true form, then there's always risk involved in dynasty trades. But I do think it helps your roster. If you're truly contending, not everybody's gonna like this, but like I just don't really care for next year's picks. You still want to keep as many as you can, even if you are contending. But like if you're gonna go all in, then you can forfeit a year. Some people would argue right now 2027 picks more valuable than 2026. Some people would say it's about even peel. But I think if you're going to roll with Burrow, QB, Mahomes, and Herbert in terms of your, QB2, the super flex spot, having Bijan, Kyron, and I'm just going to guess here in terms of how many. That's the thing. I don't know. Is it double flex? 3 wide receiver. So at worst, you're starting Pickens, Metcalf, Flowers, Devonta Adams. And then that last flex spot, like I think for a contending team, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, Pop Douglas, Cooper Kupp can get you through. And then even Aaron Jones is a flexible option as well. Maybe Tajay Brooks. I don't know. I don't think that some of these bench wide receivers are as bad. Like they're not like cornerstone type pieces, but they're good enough when you're on a contending team. Uh, like you know, players come through for you. One of my contending rosters last year, like some of the names I was starting, this is a third place team that should have won the league. I don't want to talk about it, but Jawan Jennings, Jalen McMillan, Darnell Mooney, and I feel like I ended up Demarcus Robinson was a player I dropped. Rashid Shaheed very early in the year, Christian Kirk very early in the year as well. So like those type of guys, next to Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Cooper Kupp, who's not as valuable as he used to be, but was actually not that bad last year. Break it down as my wide receiver 5 in my lineup. Like these guys could get you through. A championship team from last year. We make this draft pick. Oh, what I want to do here. So James Cook. Keep in mind this says single quarterback league. I don't know. This team is pretty good. But like Deebo Samuel and Quentin Johnston were my flex options next to David Montgomery for basically the whole year. So I mean, you can get through in a true contending team, albeit this team had Puka, Drake London, Devonta Smith, George Kittle, A-Chain, Kyler Murray. But another good example is like I would start Rachaad White. So I guess I was starting David Montgomery, flexing Rachaad White. But like even a player like Rachaad White in a true contending team can get you through. So I don't think that these pieces here are awful. But I also believe in like Marvin Mims. I think Jaden Reed will actually have some more value than some people are thinking at times. It'll be very inconsistent. And I like Pop Douglas too. So I don't know. I wouldn't it was a 4 flex league. Are you starting 3 wide receivers or 2? Is it start 3, flex 4, or start 2 flex? I'm assuming it's start 2, flex 4. But let me know at the bottom of the chat. Man, Kenneth Walker going at a premium here to cast stacked running back team. What is this cat? Two RB, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 4 flex. Okay, so that's not incredibly different than what we were talking here. It's actually a little bit better because you can definitely flex. You'd have the quarterback situation's fine. A tight end is fine too. Like, you also have Thielen. Sorry, I forgot about Thielen. You also flex Fergie at times too. But yeah, you got Kittle. Like, you're good there. But yeah, I mean, Bijan, Kyron, Pickens, Metcalf, Flowers, Adams, Jones, Reed, Mims, Kupp, Thielen, Pop Douglas. You got Kittle in a 1.5 premium tight end league. It depends on your personal view of Waddle. Like, I don't want to shift your thought process too much here. I'm just low on Waddle. So, chat, let us know what you guys think. For a Dynasty, I would consider this a contending team, for sure. I don't know where you think personally it aligns with other teams in your league, but I would consider it contending. Would you rather have Kyron Williams, knowing you have Bijan Jones, Jordan Mason, Tajay Brooks? Like, I mean, Jordan Mason could be a flex option here too. Or would you rather have Jalen Waddle in a 2nd round pick? Jay Fitness saying he's a top 3-ish team. Wide receivers, if you lose Waddle, would be Pickens, Metcalf, Flowers, Adams, Reed, Mims, Cup, Leggett, Pop Douglas, Skeleton, Christian Watson, Roman Wilson, Adam Thielen. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let me know you guys' fantasy questions. Yeah, looking very likely that B-Rob is getting shipped after tonight. Almost uncertain. So Chase Brown. We got the Chase Brown in the house tonight. Scored a touchdown and is still here to draft with us. Quite impressive. I'll be sad if Brian Robinson goes to the Bengals. Yeah, I mean, like, what team? Like, yeah, the Cowboys need a team. Or excuse me, what team needs a running back? The Cowboys need a running back. I'm like, what team really needs a running back? And like, I don't really feel like the Cowboys want to acquire a running back. And like, once again, I don't think the Commanders are going to make a trade with the Cowboys. Traded Dawson the Eagles not so long ago. It is possible, sure. It's a good trade for the Commanders. Yeah, I like B-Rob too. And like, he kind of fits what they need, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. If JCM is going to be this guy, then he's probably just as good, if not better. It does. I guess I've been saying it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess it does make sense if you could get something in return, knowing that you're not going to re-sign him next year. I guess it does make sense. Yeah, Neighbors literally has 3 injuries, but now the reports are saying he's going to be good to go week 1, which he's got a back injury, a shoulder injury, and the toe injury. But he's going to play week 1, the report, which I won't be surprised if he did. But let me know your guys' concern level over Neighbors. Let me know your concern level over Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Those were the main players I talked about in the video that went out today. I also talked about Devon A-Chain, though. He's dealing with what initially was a very vague report, a soft tissue injury, precautionary, keeping him out until week 1. And now we know it's a calf injury. Don't forget, we got a very ominous calf injury report about Christian McCaffrey about this time last year. Spiraled out of control very quickly. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening here, but I do think that there is some reason to be concerned with A-Chain. I think that the injury, hysteria is attached to Devon A-Chain because he did miss those 6 games his rookie season. And then he's also tied to Tua Tagovailoa's health. Dolphins starters have a tough time staying healthy. He could also be 110% fine week 1. That's the thing with preseason August injuries, training camp injuries, is like there's 100 examples of not being concerned with these injuries that pop up and like being fine. There's 100 examples of being concerned, and it turned out you should be concerned. So it's a tough spot to be in. All right, so Charlie Jones, yeah, he got the touchdown from Burrow. Tinsley caught the 2 from Browning. Thank you. What's going on, Ghost Hunter? What do you think about Jamar Chase first pick to Burrow, Trey McBride second and third? You should not be taking Burrow in the second round. There's no way whatsoever that you need to take him in the second round. In a 10-man, you could probably get Burrow like the 7th, 6th, maybe the 7th of the 10-man. It just kind of depends on your personal league and like where quarterbacks go. Like last night, we did our community's first draft, and after the top 4 quarterbacks were gone, Burrow and Baker fell back to like the 7th round. in a 12-man league. The Knicks didn't go to like the ninth, if I'm remembering off the top of my head here. So it really just depends. I guess it goes Zay Flowers at the flex here. That stretch of wide receivers, like Sutton through Ridley. I guess Flowers isn't that much, but I mean, yeah, it's just a lot of good value off the board there. And yeah, I was hoping Xavier Worthy fell over this draft, or like Devonta Smith, Sutton. I knew they'd be gone. I don't know what I was hoping for. But Zay Flowers is fine. Took JCM last time. I hopefully don't think anyone besides me knew him. Yeah, he's going to absolutely rise in ADP. And, you know, there are already drafts. Like, I'll pull up league number 2 draft last night. And let's see where he went last night. He did get drafted. I mean, at the 11.7 to Chance's team, it's an absolute steal. Absolute steal. So that ADP will change. And B-Rob went at the 7-8. So it's a good pick for you. All right. Sorry, guys. I appreciate you guys bearing with me while I fight through this cold. And I'm here for you guys, for your fantasy questions. The mock. All right. Fee, thank you so much for the super chat. So sorry, I was going to continue answering this question. But yeah, Chase has got to be the number one. The only 2 picks at number 1 for me are Chase or Bijan. If you're not going to go Chase, you want to go running back, then Bijan is the pick there for me. But ultimately, generally speaking, I'm probably just taking Chase off of the board. So, you know, definitely go Chase there. You should be able to get Trey McBride in the 3rd. In the 2nd round, if you want to go running back, that's completely fine. I would probably try to. You know, you're kind of looking at that tier of Jacobs, JT, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams. Get any one of those guys, you're in a good spot. I don't personally draft the tight end position that early. I would rather go Chase and then 2 running backs. Of those, you know, same 5 running backs we just named, then get an Omari and Hampton, put him in that tier as well. And I think that's the best strat from the 1-1 is to go Jamar Chase, then double running back. If you look at tonight's board, it'd be kind of tough. Jacobs, JT, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams are gone. So you kind of be forced to go like Hampton and Cook, but you're in a 10-man league. So you have a better chance at getting 2 of those running backs. So I will go Chase. I will go back-to-back running back. Then in the 4th, 5th, I will go double wide receiver. Because once again, you're going to be looking at some wide receivers like Cortland Sutton, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, T-Mac, J-Mo, Worthy. There's really good names there. Then you're going to have your wide receiver 1, your RB1, your RB2, your wide receiver 2, and your flex spot completely filled out. You're going to be in a great spot. And generally in a 10-man league, I'm just going to go for a later round tight end, later round quarterback. If you did want to go McBride, then I would look at that pick as kind of eliminating more than likely one of those like flex wide receivers, because you're going to be kind of forced to taking a later round wide receiver over that, in theory, what would have been a later round tight end. So maybe you lose a little bit of wide receiver value, but you have a solidified tight end overall. So that kind of build will look like Chase, best RB, like you're saying, McBride, then 4-12, 5-1, And I'm sorry, you'd be forfeiting a running back, not wide receiver. I apologize. So Chase, best RB would be still there, but instead of getting the RB2, you'd be getting McBride. So then, like between the 4, 12, 7, 1, you're going to need an additional running back, and you'd have a little bit less value. You're kind of going hero RB. Um, so your RB2, you're just looking for the most upside, but it's a little bit tougher. Like I think you'd be kind of forced into a situation a lot of times at the 1-1, even in a 10-man league. You look at the turns, like the tier of Cook, Walker, Hall, Hendo, Kamara, Chuba's gone, like you see on the board tonight. And then by the following turn, Pacheco, Harvey, Monty, Swift, Pollard probably going to be gone. Maybe in a 10-man, you get one of those guys to slide, like a Pollard or a Swift, but then you're kind of forced into a situation where like you probably are just going best wide receiver between your fourth and through the fifth round. Then the sixth and seventh, like you're in a spot where you need to go running back, but like you're probably gonna be forced to go like Tyrone Tracy, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy. Uh, but that's probably about it. So like you're going to look at a little bit of a lower overall upside when it comes to those positions. So I still think it's okay, but me personally, I go Chase, best two running backs of that tier, then two wide receivers. I'd really probably go if it's a single flex, you can kind of toy with it a little bit more. But personally, I would just knock out like four wide receivers in a row, then go for two late round running backs. More of a double hero RB approach. All right, hope that helped. I know that was a lot of discussion there. Thoughts on Caleb Johnson? I mean, I think he can have a nice role in this offense. The good news is for Caleb Johnson, truthers, it is a run first offense. Like we know that with Arthur Smith um, as the offensive coordinator. The biggest issue with Caleb Johnson seems to be his ability and lack of ability in terms of pass blocking. It's the biggest issue we've heard. Um, you look at what he did last year at Iowa, like they're not a team that throws the football. So he doesn't necessarily have pass catching upside. He's definitely a good, like, traditional put your head down on the football type of running back. I mean, 23 rushing touchdowns last year. Um, but Jalen Warren, although relatively efficient in terms of catching the football, is not like an elite pass catcher. So, sorry guys, dealing with this cold. I know I keep saying it. Just reminding anyone who's hopping the stream, not always blowing my nose on stream. But you know, I think that I don't exactly know how to envision how this split will work out, and I just don't know that it's going to be extremely high scoring offense. So, like, I'd be willing to draft some Caleb Johnson. Could he pay off? Sure. Would I? Am I going out of my way to draft Caleb Johnson? Not necessarily. But I do think that this system ultimately is good for him. RBs and Dynasty could be great trade bait for a team that needs to win now in exchange for maybe a wide receiver quarterback that won't help them as much immediately. Yeah, or just draft picks in general. I don't think Shane is in here tonight, but like 2 or 3 years ago on a contending team of mine, I we did like a mid-season trade where I got Kyron Williams. I don't remember what already. I remember Kyron was in there. Hold on, make these draft picks. Man, you guys are hard to tough up, or excuse me, hard to pass on Monty that last pick. But I knew a lot of these wide receivers like Addison Myers, Pearsall, Diggs, Golden would be gone by this pick. I'll kind of reach against ADP. I'll go Becca there for a little bit of upside. But yeah, I did like a mid-season trade, a contending team. Sorry, trying to pull it up, and Sleeper's like freaking out on me. I remember I got Kyron Williams. I think I got DeAndre Swift as part of this trade as well. I got one other running back. Like, we did a big trade, and I don't think this team has been. I mean, like they are still a quote unquote contending team, but we always fall short. Yeah, I got Kyron, I got DeAndre Swift, and I think whoever the other running back was, it was something short lived. Not even on my roster anymore. But point being, yeah, we swapped some picks mid season for me to try to make that final push, and I didn't get any picks back. I just got three running. It was another running back, whatever the year Kyron was playing well was, who fell off. Katz is here, 2 autos going aggressive at running back. Quick question about my team. 12-man full PPR got Purdy, Bijan, Pollard, London, Tyreek, Kittle, Evans, Jacoby, Pearsall. Should I keep 2 Falcons? Do you recommend any other moves? Yeah, I mean, having Bijan and London is fine. They are the best players at that position or at their respective positions on your team when you drafted them. So like, don't overthink it. It's still going to be a productive enough offense that both these guys can give you fantasy value throughout the season. So don't overthink it. It's like if you have Saquon Barkley and Devonta Smith, like it's completely fine. If you have Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, like obviously if those teams have down weeks where they don't put up a lot of points, it's going to impact your team theoretically. But at the same time, I wouldn't freak out about it. Overall, there's no reason to try and trade Bijan or London. I think they're probably the 2 best players on your team. It's kind of a tough pick for me because there's a couple of players I like right here. Man, am I gonna have to be the one who does this? I'm not gonna do it. I want to see where you guys put them on the board. Just leave it at that. But I'll go Keenan Allen. We'll move on. Yeah, I don't think you need to make any moves. Purdy, Bijan, Pollard, London, Hill, Kittle, Evans, Jacoby, Pearsall. I really like. I don't know how many flex spots you have here, but in terms of like potential flex options, Jacoby and Pearsall were really, really good values for you. And you already have Mike Evans in front of them. I'm not like, I'm not overly excited about Tyreek Hill. I'm also like okay, especially depending on value. I'm assuming you went Bijan at London, and then you got Tyreek in the 3rd, then Evans, then Kittle. I mean, for a 12-man league, unless you made some trades, like those are all very good values throughout the first 5 rounds. And I'm okay with Pollard as your RB2. So to get Jacoby and Pearsall on the back end was good. And Purdy's still fine. So yeah, it looks good to me. Bill Krosky Merritt still on the board is crazy. Yeah, we'll see what happens. See what happens. Got a fantasy draft on Saturday in the 8-team league. You think 2 RB is the way to go there? I mean, with an 8-man league, like you kind of got to play the draft board. It's kind of tough to say. You're trying to go for as much positional advantage as you could possibly get throughout the course of the draft, undoubtedly. So I'm okay with a 2 RB start, but 2 wide receiver start could be very good. 1 RB, 1 wide receiver start could be very good too. And an 8-team league is the one league where I don't have any problem going early quarterback. I don't even have a problem being the first team to take a quarterback. Where in any larger size league, I just don't think it's necessary. In an 8-team league, you can try and get that positional advantage. You can also try to get that positional advantage at the tight end position. So Just depends. You really got to play the board. If you want to go 2 RB, I think it's fine for sure. Andrea, good to see you. Hello. If I'm taking Nico in round 1 in a 10-man league, who should I take in round 2? It's a good question. You're in a very good spot if you're starting with Nico, but I don't know exactly where you are drafting from. So it's hard to say. Because Nico goes like anywhere, like Nico's at the 1-8 tonight. Nico goes anywhere from like the 1-7 to the 112. Like, his ADP is all over the place. He's kind of moving a little bit in front of players like Puka and Neighbors, for example, who have some risk associated at the moment. But really, if you're on the back end of the first round, going in the second round, there's just so much talent there. You could go double wide receiver, especially if a Neighbors or B Tom falls. I'm really okay with both those guys as a wide receiver too. Drake London, AJ Brown, perfectly fine as wide receiver twos, but there's also a ton of running back value on the back end of the turn there. Derrick Henry, Genty, A-Chain, C-Mac, if any of those guys are available. So you really can't make a wrong selection there in round 2. And I think Nico, I'm perfectly okay with as your first overall selection there. Um, I actually think like having the turn is difficult this year because there's so much value. But then once again, I don't know exactly where you're drafting from. You could be drafting a little bit earlier, and so you're at the 1-8. So you have a little bit less, but you might see a B top fall, you might see an A chain fall. You could very well see both those guys not fall. Sometimes you see Genty fall in that range too. But I would say I'd probably start double wide receiver because you're likely to land for sure Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, or AJ Brown in a 10-man format. If one of Henry, A-Chain, or Genty is there, I'm also perfectly okay going running back. I don't quite know if they'll be there. And maybe C-Max in that. It really depends on your league. Everyone from like the 1-9 through the beginning of the second round is really league dependent. Whether you're in a 10-man or a 12-man, there's a lot of good value, a lot of good overall players, a lot of shift that can happen depending on your league. So, I think I try to go double wide receiver, but the problem is that that entire tier of Jacobs, JT, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams will not be there when you draft. Again, you're going to have to go back-to-back running back, in my opinion, in the third and fourth round. I think it's okay, if you get Walker and Henderson, for example, maybe Omari and Hampton will fall to you. In a 10-man, maybe. I wouldn't bank on it. If he's there, that's fine. Then I would get a veteran like a James Cook or a Kenneth Walker. If Hampton's not there, then I would do the opposite. I would go Cook or Walker first. Then I try to target a Trayvon Henderson in the fourth round, but you could go with a Brees Hall or Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, someone in that range. Then I try to knock out, your flex positions in the fifth and sixth, seventh, eighth round. You will see a lot of value in those rounds in a 10-man league. I just go late round quarterback and late round tight end in a 10-man league. Feel pretty good about it. All right, JCM is off the board at the 9-5. He fell a lot further than I thought he would. I mean, I'm also shocked that he was drafted after Brian Robinson. I was going to take him over Keenan Allen, but whenever we're in a situation like this, I try not to take the player. I try to see where he lands naturally and where you guys draft him. I thought he'd go like the Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy type range. I mean, I really think he's going to have that type of role with the Commanders. I know Eckler will get his, but Eckler was really only involved in the passing game last year. So, I'm not surprised that Foster, as a Commanders fan, takes him. But I mean, I know Eckler missed 5 games or whatever last year, 6 games, including Week 18. But he only had 77 touches on the ground. 41 targets, 35 catches. Is really through the air is where he made his money. But yeah, I'm surprised he was there at the 9.5. I thought he would go closer to like this range of running backs. And once again, I'm shocked that B-Rob went before him. So I like to see how things land naturally. I also feel like J.K. Dobbins is really falling back in drafts. All right. A couple of players I like right here. It's a tough pick for me. I don't know what I want to do with this pick. Just go Evan Ingram. That's not what I thought I was going to do at all, but let's get tight end out of the way. This is a completely free league, Johnny. All of our community drafts are $20 buy-ins, except that some of the Dynasty leagues have higher buy-ins. I have a home league that's a $100 entry. My second league that I've been in since 2015. Yeah. 10-year anniversary this year. I won this league last year. It's a $200 buy-in. That is the largest league I've played in terms of a buy-in. Not including best. No, that is the largest buy-in. But yeah, all of our leagues are $20 buy-ins. It allows more people to join the leagues. I think 50 is a good number. I think you're supposed to say, hope you're getting better. I don't know. Every time I think I am, that I started to feel a lot better yesterday. Then today I felt like awful. And I knew I had to tough out this stream for you guys, though. Texans need to run back. Yeah, Texans one team we named. Texans, Cowboys. I think there's an argument for the 9. It's probably going to be like a really random team, though. You know? It's. I feel like this time of year, it's usually like it'll be the Colts or something, you know? Maybe the Dolphins. B-Rob isn't worth the risk. Let someone else risk a roster spot unless you punt RB completely early. Yeah. I don't really feel as if I'm targeting him at all right now. I just want to see what happens with the situation. But I will say this. In a world where he does not actually get traded, which is a possibility, it doesn't look likely, but it is a possibility. We have to play all angles here, right? Then he will end up being a good value where he gets drafted. So, but like, I don't think most people are banking on that right now. But I do agree. Like, I'm not taking it. Puka scares me as a first rounder, but I love the rest of your picks. Yeah, it's a tough choice there too. Like, you pass on Puka. And I was gonna go Henry. You know, but generally it's been Neighbors. Like, Neighbors there has been a smash pick for me, but I'm pretty worried about Neighbors right now. Neighbors and Puka, I think, hold risk. I like B-Top a lot. But I think based on ADP, like, you don't need to go B-Top at the 110. So I think it's either like, do you take Puka or Neighbors here? In terms of the risk associated, how do you feel? If you're not going receiver, for me, Henry's the pick. So it is a tough choice. So this is a tough tier of players for me. Like C-Mac through B-Tom, but I'm not negating A.J. Brown or Drake London. And then really this tier of running backs, you're going to see Brock Bowers gone somewhere, but Jacobs, JT, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron is really becoming the norm in the second half of the second round. So don't be surprised if some people in the earlier second round reach for one of those running backs if they really want them. And my guy, Lad McConkey, is just falling back in drafts right now. He really is. And really, I think Hampton would be up in this area if we did not see the injury to Rashawn Slater. So the second round has really changed a lot. Remember, Ladd used to be like in front of Drake London at times. The Rashawn Slater injury is really shaking that up. What double points? You mean, what do you mean, what double points? Drafting QB early and one QB is a terrible idea this year. Yeah, I don't personally ever take an early quarterback. I just don't. It may Nix, Caleb. Yeah, now Nix goes a little bit steeper. Depends on the draft. But like last night, real draft, league number 2, we did see Nix fall to the 9th round. But yeah, you get like, I don't know, tonight's a little bit more aggressive at quarterback, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I have Kelsey. Would you drop backup tight end to pick up Chase Brown's backup? Who's your backup tight end? I don't know, man. Fields goes higher now, and Fields was going higher. Fields was going around the 9th round before the toe injury because of the perceived that like he was going in the Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert type range. Tonight you see Prescott and Goff gone before Kyler and Herbert. Really, that ADP is all over the place. But in a lot of actual drafts, we've seen Fields. Like Fields goes to this block tonight, the 9-9. I think Fields, especially by September, will be going higher. But now, like we have 2 preseason games for Fields. One, which like gave you a lot of confidence and the perceived rushing upside. The other one, where it's like, what's going on here? You know, can barely complete any passes. So. Yeah, I will say, like, if I'm going to take a quarterback early, it's just Josh Allen. You know, I don't really ever do it. But like, if I was going to commit to drafting a quarterback, I just spend the premium on Josh Allen and call it a day. Yeah, I mean, if Josh Allen or Lamar are there in the 4th, then you have a discussion. Like Hurts fell to the 5-8 in the last night's draft, and I didn't even look or consider it because this wasn't part of the plan. But Hurts at the 5-8 is fantastic. Elite QBs in the 3rd round are the most likely to be league winners according to win rate and home leagues out of any position and round, says Cats. It can certainly happen. Wow. Surprised. I'm going to go Christian Kirk because I almost took him with the last pick. Sorry, guys. I'm like deathly ill. I know. You don't want to hear me blow my nose. Now, one of my home leagues I did win last year, I did draft Josh Allen. But he, like, nobody was taking – it was just one of those things. He kept falling to the draft. Nobody was taking quarterbacks. It was a 14-man league, so I just went with the positional advantage. So I just generally don't do it. Shane, what's up, bro? Do you remember the trade we did at Dynasty where I traded you draft picks and I got Kyron Williams and DeAndre Swift? I was talking about that trade like 15 minutes before you came into the stream. Who was the other running back? It was the Chargers running back? I don't remember. Who was the Chargers running back that was the thing for like 3 weeks that year? Sea Dogs drafted in a few minutes at the 3. Who should I get? Torn between Saquon Gibbs and Lamb. They are all perfectly fine. Do you want to start your draft with a running back or receiver? Last night in league number 2's draft with the community, I went Saquon at the 1-3. I did a hero RB build, and it turned out really good. So do what you want with that information, but you really can't make a wrong pick there. Really can't make a wrong pick there. I was very close to going CeeDee Lamb. Go Caleb Williams. Brian Robinson, the Cowboys. I just don't see it happening, but maybe. I really think, if he does get traded, it'll just be like a random team we're not even considering. Am I worried about HA? No. No, I'm not. But I don't like that it's a calf injury. QBs go early in my league. Last year, the only QB in the 5th was Dak. Dak went pretty high last year, right? So he's coming off of like the year where he's like the QB4. I mean, sure, but still, I don't think you need to go Burrow in the second round. Oh wait, was this a different team? Yeah, that's not the team I was asking about. Burrow. I'm sorry. I still don't think you need to go early quarterback, generally speaking. Do the Fields and Wilson stack always. There you go. I'm okay with Fields at the 9-9. Eckler's ADP should rise too. That I don't disagree with. At the beginning of the offseason, I was taking a lot of Eckler and best ball, and now I'm sad because I kind of stopped. But also best ball, underdog, it's half PPR. I like Eckler more in full PPR. Yeah, it's tough, C-Dog. You're really not going to make a wrong pick. I would kind of think, do you want to go hero running back? Which you can still go hero or double hero running back if you go Lamb at the 1-3. I'm okay with that. And then like maybe get a Chase Brown or Kyron Williams in the second. Then assuming it's a 12-man league at the 3-3, you could go Amari and Hampton, likely at least that you could. And then you'd be in a double hero RB position with a CeeDee Lamb as your wide receiver 1. You'd be in a really good spot, especially if you go like Lamb, Chase Brown, or Bucky, and then Kyron Williams if he falls back. I would really like that. If not, Lamb, Brown, or Bucky, then Hampton, I think is okay. Or you could go Lamb, said running back, then like a JSN or Higgins at the 3-3 more than likely. Then the problem with the 4-10, 5-3 area is you're going to see the tier of running back Cook, Walker, Hall, Henderson, Kamara, Chuba Hubbard. Likely all those guys are gone. If one of them's there, then of course you can take them, but you're more of a position where you're going to go double wide receiver in the 4th and the 5th, unless you're really high on Connor. But you could still go like Devonta Smith or Cortland Sutton, then like George Pickens, T-Mac, J-Mo, Xavier Worthy. Be in a really good spot for a double hero RB approach if you got those 2 running backs, or you'd be in a really good spot to where your wide receivers flex positions are just absolutely stacked, that going into the 6th and 7th round, you could just start to take the best running backs available, like literally between the 6th and 8th round, get a late round quarterback and a late round tight end. So try not to overthink it, but really it's going to depend. If you go wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb at the 1-3, got a couple options there. If you go running back, then I would just commit to double hero RB approach. Have Barkley or Gibbs at the 1-3, then go Chase Brown, Bucky at the 2-10, maybe Kyron Williams if no one else is there. Then you're just going to hammer out wide receiver for 4 straight rounds. Go for a JSN or Higgins. Go for a Devonta Smith or Sutton. Go for a Pickens, J-Mo, T-Mac, Worthy. Then go for Jacoby Myers, Jordan Addison, Ricky Pearsall in the 7th. Then the 8th and 9th, I will go best running backs available. It's not going to be very pretty. Could always kind of alternate here if there's a running back in earlier rounds, 6th, 7th, 5th, that really stands out to you. To go for a dart throw receiver a little bit later, then go late round quarterback, late round tight end. I hope that was helpful. I know you're probably already started your draft, so try to squeeze it in there. Gonna have to put you in a bubble room, I know, dude. This time of year, my daughter, she hasn't even started school. She did have summer camp for 2 weeks, and then was going to the play place at my gym a little bit. And literally last year I was sick off and on all throughout the football season. I don't know if you guys remember. So we'll see how it turns out this year. Yeah, Shane, I can't remember. Who was the Chargers running back then? I don't even remember what the trade was, but now I really want to know. B-Rob to the Texans. Yeah, like, it could definitely happen. But once again, I really think it's just gonna be a random team. Maybe the Chargers. Najee's never gonna play again. Be the Colts for no reason. Be the Cardinals will be the new RB2. Trey Benson will become nothing. It's just I feel like this time of year, it's always something like that. Be the 49ers because Isaac Grando's shoulder injury's serious. I don't know. I feel like a team like the Cowboys or the Texans, it just makes too much sense. So I feel like it's never like a team that actually, by all standards, makes a lot of sense. All right, excuse me, guys. I am going to take some cold medicine on stream in a second. So don't judge me for this. But 13th round is wrapping up. That's who it was, Josh Kelly. Let me know if you guys want a team review. Kyron O's Mostert. I thought it was Swift. Of course, I already had Swift. Oh my gosh, that tasted absolutely awful. Oh, I forgot how bad NyQuil tastes. I hate that. So yeah, this is an example of a contending team trading away a valuable pick to try and make a push. 2 out of 3 of these running backs. Look, this is a good example of short life in Dynasty with running backs. Now, the trade ultimately worked out, I think, for both sides. I don't know who you picked with that pick, Shane, but Kyren Williams for 2024 first during the 2023 season, that's fine. It's worked out. He's been a solid part of that roster. Mostert is not, he's not even on the team anymore. Josh Kelly's not even on the team anymore. That is how quick the running back position shifts in Dynasty. Absolutely, very quickly. But at least I got Kyron. Thank you for checking. We were talking about that trade a bit. The started Dynasty startup got CD Chase. They get to pick. Oh, I just auto picked. I'm sorry, guys. I'll take Herbert. That's fine. I'm sorry. I never auto pick. It's the cold medicine. They get to pick until the 6th round. Do you think that's worth it? And that wide receiver room is ridiculous. I mean, only time will tell, truthfully. It really depends on what you did with the rest of your picks. I mean, you're missing. It's not too bad. You don't have a 4th and you don't have a 5th? I'm assuming you're probably missing some future picks. Oh, Shane got Brock Powers with that pick. Okay. I mean, you probably won the trade. I mean, that's not. This is not bad for a 12-teamer, right? I'm reading this right. You can think of it like you got 3 players, so missing Jay Jettis more valuable than a 2nd rounder. CD more valuable than a 3rd rounder. Chase your 1st rounder. You don't have a 4th. You don't have a 5th. It's really going to depend on what you do with the rest of the picks. But if it's super flex, you need to really you have all your futures. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's pretty dang good if you have all your futures. How'd you make that happen? How'd you only get rid of your 4th and 5th round picks? Because you have no. Okay, wait. No, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. You don't have any 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That makes more sense. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. It's probably worth it, but only time will tell. I would just say this: don't trade these 3 players. No, but it really will ultimately depend on what you do with the rest of your draft picks. And you do need to take the quarterback position seriously and find a way to build out the rest of the roster. Don't get rid of them. These are 3 cornerstone pieces. Don't ever trade these guys. ever. That's my 12 team. Knicks, Bryce Young, A-Chain Swift, Tracy, Bigsby, Garando, Jalen Wright, Amon Ra, JSN, Devon Smith, Reed, Shakir, Ingram, Ertz. Pretty good. Looks like a competitive draft. Knicks, Bryce. I don't know that you had to draft Bryce Young, but it's okay. You probably didn't spend much on him. Knicks, A-Chain, Swift, Tracy's fine. Amon Ra, JSN, Devonta, you're fine. You have a flex option between Tracy or Devonta Smith. And Shakir, I think, will be flexible in full PPR for sure. Ingram, Ertz, good time. It's a good team. Looks like it was a tough draft. You do have a lot of looks like it was a pretty deep draft considering your running back room there, but it's not too crazy. Bigsby, Brando, Wright's not too crazy. It's a good team. Solid team. It's competitive. It looks like it was a pretty competitive draft. All right. You did not snipe me tonight. Did not. Fields, Loveland is fine. I still am in a boat where if I draft Loveland, I'm probably drafting a second tight end. I digress. C-Mac Kamara, Brian Robinson, Stevenson, Davis, Dowdle, London, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, and Dunze Golden. I'm still kind of surprised that B-Rob went this early. I think I don't really know where JCM's ADP is going to be, though. I don't know. Fields, Loveland, C-Mac, Kamara, Lundo, Wilson, Ridley, and Dunze is fine. Golden is a great bench option. I mean, sure, I guess here the risk is not too bad with Brian Robinson. I think I prefer. I mean, in this range, I think Warren is more valuable in this immediate moment. But I don't think B-Rob's much further down. I think he's kind of in this Judkins type area where we just don't exactly know the volume or role. It's just murky. I still like Dobbins in this area. I think I like JCM in this area. But I don't think B-Rob is that further out. I think I like ETN at this. I don't know that B-Rob is that further out from these players. So I don't think it's a crazy pick, but he did need running back help. Running lineup's good enough. I think I would have gone. I understand why you ended with 3 running backs here. I think I would have gone Dalton Kincaid with one of these 2 picks. Other than that, I'm okay with it. All right, Foster's got Lamar, Hawkinson, good there. Barkley, JT, JCM, Bigsby, Chubb, Ford, Sutton, T-Mac, Judy, Addison, Thornton. So we're starting Lamar, Hawk, Barkley, JT, Sutton, T-Mac, Judy. We'll start Addison down the stretch or after the first 3 games. But until then, you got to figure out this other flex spot. So, I think I would have gone Christian Kirk, even Mooney. I'm okay with the dart throw on Thornton. I'm okay with Ford, I guess. I don't really drafted Ford personally, but I think I would have taken another dart throw. I think I still have Bateman and Pop Douglas over Thornton right now. But I think you should have tried to kind of solidify somewhere in here. I understand why he took the extra running backs. And I like JCM and Bigsby there. I think in these last 3 picks, I would have tried to solidify that additional flex over just because Addison's going to miss time. But if you're kind of practicing for a single flex, although this format in theory is double flex, then you're fine here. Good double hero RB. All right, your boy got Baker in the 8th, Kelsey in the 9th. That's fine. Always fight on waivers for a tight end if Kelsey's too sluggish or whatever. JT Pacheco, Harvey, White, Algier, Neighbors, MH, Evans, Shakir, Godwin, Ayuk. See, a lot of people drafting Godwin and Ayuk at the end of drafts right now and just throwing them right on IR. Depends on how many IR spots your league has. That's fine, but just remember, if Mike Evans gets hurt week 4, Gonna miss 4 weeks. And like, you gotta make a decision on your IR spots, you know? Players do get hurt early in the season. But you got some discounts here. Shakir probably included. You're starting Baker, Kelsey, Genty, Pacheco, or Harvey, Neighbors, MH, Evans, Shakir. I think Shakir will be ready week 1. But if not, you could always flex one of these 2 running backs. So it's a good, solid lineup. Godwin, Wyatt, Ayuk, some good discounts, I think. Still some risk, especially with Godwin and Ayuk. But and that was year perfectly fine. So it's a good team. At Dak and Drake May, that'll do. Kittle, that'll do. Chase Brown, Connor, Tracy, Benson, pretty good running back value. Handcuffed the Arizona situation. Lamb, JSN, Myers, Shaheed, Downs, Pop is solid. One of the 2 quarterbacks, Kittle, Chase Brown, Connor, Lamb, JSN, Myers. I'm probably flexing Tracy here. I still like Shaheed, and don't forget Shaheed was on a very good pace other than week 3 last year before he got hurt in week 6. Week 3 was goose egg game. But I'm just more worried about the QB situation there. And Josh Downs, kind of similar situation. Like, I'm not worried about Josh Downs, the player. I'm worried about the Colts offense. But they're good values there. And Paul Douglas could be flexible here, too. But I think I would personally just flex Tristan. But yeah, it's okay. Perfectly fine. Cats, 4 running backs. Why not? We got Purdy, Warren, Akokwo, Chicken Conquo. Butchered his name the first time. Henry, A-Chain Walker. Hall is good. If you know that. Hunter, Waddle, Jennings, Burden, Pittman, Cokers. It's fine. If the wide receivers hit, then this team could be very good. Purdy's going to give you that floor. I like Tyler Warren. Henry, A-Chain. The thing is, like, with this team, if everyone's healthy, you can just flex Walker and Breece Hall and then just start 2 of the wide receivers. So, yes, you need the wide receivers to hit, but if the running backs are healthy, tight end quarterback works out, then you're in a very good spot. So it's a good team. I just don't like Jalen Waddle. John, I'm late. Who's the number 1 pick? Number 1 pick was Javon Chase. I think you can bill it to 1-1. Yes. I am a Commanders fan, so don't tempt me. It's crazy that pick turned into Brock Powers. Reverse is at the 1-8. Mahomes, Kraft, Pitts, nice. Chuba, Swift, Warren, Braylon Allen is good enough. Nico, Brown, Adams, Worthy is crazy. I still like, we're seeing Worthy kind of, he's being like more aggressively drafted in the 4th. Now he's falling back to like the end of the 5th, middle of the 5th. But Worthy right here with Nico, Brown, Adams, even though you sacrifice some upside at running back, is nice. Coleman, Thielen. They're not my favorite kind of late round targets at receiver, but it's fine. Starting Mahomes, starting Kraft, starting Chuba, starting Swift, Nico, Brown, Adams, Worthy. That's probably my favorite starting lineup here. Warren and Allen I like on the bench. Let's see. Over Coleman, I would have got Michael Pittman. More guaranteed volume. I'm just not high on Coleman. But the upside is there, I suppose. I love Kraft there. Over Thielen, I'd probably go Rashad Bateman or Pop Douglas. But I think Thielen is okay in this range. Pitts, sure, why not? Good team. I like Adunze this year. He's fine. Prefer him as a wide receiver 4 on my team, but he's perfectly fine. I like the system. Where do you rank May? I mean, in terms of late round quarterbacks, I still have names like Prescott, Goff, Purdy, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields ahead of him, even Kyler Murray. If he's your late round guy, like if you're going to punt quarterback and take him, I don't have any problem with it. I still think there's some more proven players there that I'd rather take. And my true late round dart throw was still JJ McCarthy or Michael Penix, but at that point, I think Drake May's probably already gone. Very competitive draft, $400 buy-in. Nice. God was at the 1.1. Hertz, McBride. So early quarterback, early tight end. 0 RB. Chase, Ladd, Rice, Reed, Mims, Bateman. Honestly, Mims and Bateman were great value for this build. Jones, Caleb Johnson, Dobbins, Spears, Jalen Wright. It's an interesting team. So you're starting Hertz, McBride, Jones, and whoever's there. Chase, Ladd. You just got to figure out the flex. I mean, Rice, when he's there, and I think Jaden Reed will be flexible when he's healthy. And I think Mims and Bateman are good flex options, and Dobbins. If Caleb Reed or Caleb Johnson's not startable, then Dobbins is probably more startable. You can figure out the flex. I mean, obviously, the upside of this team comes from quarterback and tight end, and those first 2 wide receivers gone. I don't know that I would have picked Rashee Rice on this team, especially going 0 RB. I would have gone like Pickens or J-Mo or T-Mac here or even Worthy. Just because I think Reed is okay here, especially because you got Mims and Bateman. I would just have not gone Rashee Rice, being that you went 0 RB. But I get it too. If you go RB there, it has to be Connor, Harvey, or Pacheco. It just feels like a reach, I think, for most people. I have Tracy ahead of Caleb Johnson. I would have gone Aaron Jones, Caleb Johnson. Dobbins and Spears are fine. By the time you pick Spears, there's really like nobody left, right? So it could work just because the QB tight ends. Was JCM really that good, though? I mean, he looked good tonight in limited action, and the Bengals did have their starters in, although the Bengals are probably the worst defense in the NFL. But he will have the opportunity. The bigger conundrum will be if Brian Robinson doesn't actually get traded, because we know Eckler is going to be used in the passing game. He's obviously good enough that the Commanders are confident in not having Brian Robinson suit up and to field any trade offers for him and to replace B-Rob with JCM. And don't forget, like, B-Rob is not like uber talented, and when healthy in this system last year, put up good enough numbers. B-Rob's not a bad running back by any stretch of the imagination, but when healthy, he has had plenty of good fantasy stretches, but also some bumps in the road. See JCM go at pick 60 and pick 131 the last hour on Underdog. Yeah, that sounds about right. Gob, always great info here. Happy to be a Catch member. We appreciate you. And have another great season. Ollie Gordon over Jalen Wright. I could see that being a thing. I could. All right, guys, plenty of content coming your guys' way this week, so make sure you guys stay posted. If you guys aren't already on the Discord, the link is in the description. It's completely free to join. You guys will get notifications on when our content comes out, as well as invites to our mock drafts, all that great stuff. We have 2 spots left in the final league of the year. It's a 3 wide receiver league. If you guys want a spot, DM me on Sleeper or on Discord. It's a $20 buy-in. It is drafting Saturday night. We will have a live stream draft Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night of next week for 4 different leagues for the community. So this may be our last mock draft stream. I didn't really think about that, but it could very well be. So don't worry. The drafts will actually probably be a better view for you guys to come out and see where or how things look in a real draft. So we have a lot of drafts coming up for the community, and we'll continue to have a lot of content out. And then, guys, we're going to have literally like actual week 1 content coming out starting Friday the 29th, so 11 days away. We have the Superflex draft Friday night, League 5, 3 wide receiver league Saturday night. League 3 is drafting Sunday night. League 1 is drafting Monday night. The auction league, which I won't be streaming, is drafting Tuesday night. So yeah. Actually, we're going to have week 1 content coming out Thursday the 28th. I'm sorry. So 10 days away. Make sure you guys are staying posted. So thank you to everyone who came out, hung out tonight, talked some fantasy, mocked, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for putting up with me while I am sick. And happy to tough through this stream for you guys and get another mock. Oh, we forgot to look at my team. Let's look at my team, then I'll get off. Late round QB, Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert, Evan Ingram at tight end, Cook, Hendo, Monty, Charbonnet at running back. I could live with that. Fight for waivers if we needed depth, but Cook, Hendo, Monty is pretty solid, and Charbonnet is my favorite handcuff. Great system under Clint Kubiak. If Walker goes down, Charbs, you know exactly what to expect right away with Charbonnet. Puka, I know, a little scary, but we got Puka, B. Tom, Flowers, Mecca, Puka, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk, pretty good receiver room. I'm okay with this team. Starting one of the 2 quarterbacks, Ingram, Cook, Hendo, Puka, B. Tom, Flowers, and a number of guys who could be in the flex with a solid bench. Solid team. I'll take it. Good final mock of the season. So, all right, I don't know. We might run some more mocks. And we're going to be running some more underdog drafts, so stay posted. But literally, all of next week's streams are going to be real drafts. So make sure you guys come out to see the players are actually being drafted. It'll be a good time. So, all right, thank you guys for hanging out tonight, talking fantasy. And I will talk to everybody soon. You guys have a great rest of the week. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, is out here on the catch and